If you've ever wondered, like, man, how do I find more clients? What should I post? What can I say to get people to actually sign up, to join me, to take that next step? We're diving into what real coaches focus on to grow that a lot of new coaches don't really understand and they actually miss. And the reason why is because when we get into coaching, we think that automatically means we have to become like an entrepreneur or a marketing specialist. And what we have found is it's not about implementing the newest marketing strategy. It's about learning how to think about things differently and deeper. So welcome to Modern Leadership Coaching. We help coaches not only develop the confidence and skills they need to make a huge impact in the world, but get them to the point where they are fully booked and they have a new problem, which is how do I hire new people on my team? And by the way, we got you covered there too, because we have really powerful teammates here on the channel that can help you not only grow your business, but get you to a point where you're doing only the things you love to do, which for me is coaching.
All right, so let's talk about the real trap. So this is confusing our identities.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that? Like what that really means to confuse our identities?
Yeah. When we get on social media or when we get into like building our business, for some reason, what we do is we tend to confuse the identity of who we really are.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? You're a coach. But for some reason, we think now we have to become a marketer. We think about like, what are all the marketing ways that we can lean into this? And we miss the most important thing. And that is that we're not marketers. We're coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And when we use our skill of coaching on a deeper level, we will attract people who want a coach. Anybody ever gone viral? And then all of a sudden you're either trying to keep up with that or like the people that you actually have on your newsfeed are not the people for you to serve. And it actually takes your time away from doing the things that you want to do. I've had it happen plenty of times with our clients. And then we realize that like, if you will show up as a marketer on social media to entertain and to do whatever it is, whatever hat you have on, you're not going to be attracting people who want to coach. You're going to be attracting people who want to be entertained. And when you lean into your identity as a coach, the person that you are, you're there to make an impact. You have a very specific way that you do that. You go deeper, you have conversations, then we can actually figure out how do I do that in the confines of social media, in the confines of meeting people one-on-one or whatever that process looks like for you. But you don't do it as a marketer, you do it as a coach. Now we have a quote here. This quote is, you're not a coach because you post like one. You're a coach because you lead like one.
Okay, so what actually shifted when you started thinking like a real coach? And also kind of like define what a real coach is.
When I started to think like a coach, I'm going to give you a couple different examples of like what actually came up for me. But I started to approach things with my own strength zone in mind. Right. And so instead of thinking about like something on the outside, like getting told that I need to do something or following somebody else's script or doing this kind of stuff, I leaned in instead of going out.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people I find do that is they look outside of themselves for the answers when the answers are always on the inside. But then we go outside and we try to look for all those answers. And sometimes we start implementing those answers. And a lot of times they don't work. And then it makes it, for some reason, we take that and we actually make it mean something bad about us. And it's just that was never supposed to be a part of us. It was a lesson that we had to learn because it's not the right way to do it. It has been ingrained in my system. And this is what we teach in our certification, right? So it's not something you do, it's something that you become. And when you become that person and you just do it automatically, you don't ask how you do it, right? The second one is leading yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Leading yourself first. So as a coach, one of the things that I push it a lot. I mean, if you're through our certification, the entire first month is about leading yourself. It's about getting your health in alignment, getting your family in alignment, getting your business and your career, whatever it is you're doing, like getting yourself to feel like you are crushing it, you're on fire, you're taking action, because those are the best people to be able to help inspire other people to do that too. So when you lead yourself first, you have incredible content that you could share because you're coaching yourself. You are proof that your product works because you're using it, right? And it's like this funny thing is like, it's the best marketing is just sharing like what you're doing and how you're getting through it and how you're overcoming it. But guess what that is called? Coaching. That's not marketing, that's coaching. And you coaching and leading yourself really helps create a lot of power in people because they're like, wow, that's powerful that they were able to reframe that or lean into that or learn that lesson and then take that and move forward. And then also plants in them a certain amount of demand, right? When you're doing these things, we teach this inside of the Coach Accelerator, which is what's called creating demand. It's a little bit different than marketing. Marketing is like you're shouting at people. At least that's what I think of it as. Like creating demand is like you're pulling people into you because of what you're talking about, how you're explaining it, how you're sharing and breadcrumbing it. They're like, I need more of this. It's a little different than shouting, right? Shouting can work for people, by the way. And I want to say that, like, if marketing is working for you, please keep doing it. If it's not, keep watching this video. Okay. Because that's really what it's all about, right? Because if you find something that's working, I want you to lean into it. But if you don't, it's time to try a different strategy, right? And the third one is presence over performance. Your presence as a coach, as a human, connecting to the other person, finding out what they're struggling with, not believing the stories and perspectives they're telling themselves as to why they can't get it, and helping them achieve it, that is powerful. That will sell any day of the week. But if you're thinking that your job is to perform, you're thinking your job is to get 1 million views on your reels, you're thinking your job is to like really connect with every single person on the planet, you're going to start to try and perform rather than use your presence, which is what you've like learned to do as a coach, is to give people the gift of your presence. That also generally doesn't happen in a post. That generally happens in a conversation, whether it's a DM, a Zoom call, a phone call. It's like a way of you communicating to someone and getting them to see that you're giving them the time and space and the energy. That's where the power is. So thinking about how can I go and use my presence as a coach over my performance. If you go back and you look at some of my stuff early on, it was me trying to perform and then wondering why nobody's showing up. And to be honest, like if you look at my social media now, you'll see it doesn't look like I have a lot of engagement. But I got to tell you, like, if you take a look inside of our programs, inside of the certification or the Coach Accelerator, and the people's lives who are being changed, I feel like we're doing really amazing. And it has nothing to do with how many likes or views I get or how many hearts I get on some of the stuff that I put out there. Because we're making real powerful change on the inside, right? And so it's not about that outside. It's about the presence and how you can really connect with people on a deeper level. And I feel like that's what coaches do better than everything. But then they don't resort to that when they think about like getting people to get in the program, being able to serve people, being able to, help transform them forever. They jump back into, let me send a message or something like that, right? Which is like, I know it probably might feel like the less scary thing to do, but like that's also the least connecting thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that I've noticed this in our programs that when we talk about this stuff, I think there's this pressure that is released from the coaches. Like I can see it physically and I can tell that they were just waiting for permission in a sense to do that, to like do something different that not everybody is willing to do. Because like you said, like it may be scary to put yourself out on social media, but it's also a lot easier than actually going out and like just making that like personal connection.
Yep.
So like what are some of like the red flags that come up that tell you that you're kind of like in that wrong headspace?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you some of these symptoms. If any of them hit you and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's with me, I want you to be okay with that because all of these are symptoms that I've personally gone through, but they also were an opportunity for me to do something different. And when I forced it and I kept trying to do these over and over and over again, that didn't work. But jumping on with a coach, and by the way, we will leave you a link inside of the show notes for you to grab a free spot on what we call a clarity call. It could be that we talk to you and we find that we could actually help you through this. It could be that we don't. Trust me, I got a lot of coaches because we actually coach coaches and teach them how to coach that could actually be able to help you. But we want you to like come into a call to actually get the help that you need so you can get unstuck, all right? But here's some of these ways, all right? Number one is you're thinking about your next viral video that you're going to create. So you're like, what can I create? What could I do? What could I say that would get more people to like this post? That is the wrong approach, all right? I'm just going to say like you're approaching this in terms of like being a entertainer. You're going to show up a little bit different, right? So if you're constantly thinking about, okay, what's the next thing that I can do to get a viral video? And you're a coach, we really need to think about that, right? The second is you're waiting for somebody to give you your next move. So you're waiting for a mentor to tell you what to do next, to take the next step. How do you respond to this? Like we have to, as coaches, we have to be more self-sustaining and yes, getting some feedback from other people, but being able to not like resort and think that somebody else or some other thing has to tell us what to do. We can get out there and we can do and create some really powerful things because we have coaching. Right? We can ask great questions. Next one is you're basing whether people are getting your content, like learning and understanding it with how many likes you get. We cannot be tied to those things, especially when it has to do with the specific things that we're talking about when it comes to coaching, right? Next one is you tweak your offer or your niche every 2 weeks, waiting for the engagement to really hit. You're like, you know what? If I talk to these people this week, it's really going to hit. or if I change up my offer to this, or I change the price in this, or I do this, and you're all focused on the 80% activities, those things that feel like it's moving the business forward, but it's really not. And you're not focused on the things that really move the business forward, right? So if you're that type of person where you're changing niches and offers every 2 weeks, definitely jump on a call with us or find somebody to be able to coach you through that, right? And the last one is you don't feel that you're qualified unless you're constantly getting feedback from social media. If you're waiting to wake up in the morning and say, okay, am I going to have a good day today? Let's go see what my post or my video or my reel did yesterday, or how many responses I got back in the text messages. Hate to break it to you, but you are tying your worth to social media. And guys, I want you to think about this. Do you know why social media was created? It was not created so you could sell your coaching business. That was just something that people added in because they're like, hey, if people are having a conversation, let me interrupt them in their conversation and see if I can sell this thing. And so we're in this space where it's kind of like interruption marketing, right? Where it's like, I want to interrupt what you're doing and talk to you about how to become a better coach, right? And so here's the thing, like when you think about relying on something like that to tell you your worth, you actually don't come out and share what people really need to hear. And sharing it from a perspective of like, hey, like I was going through this, or I was helping a coach through this, or I was doing this, like, and being able to guide them through that process using your coaching skills, using what you were able to uncover. That's powerful. That's kind of like a social way of like being able to share some of the things that you've been able to go through and how you help other people do that too. And so when you think about these things, if any of those come up, this is definitely an opportunity for you to get coached. The truth is everybody is going to be processing each one of these things differently. There's something different that holds us back as humans. And we all know this as coaches because we're our best clients, right? And we don't know what that is until we actually have a conversation. So I'm not going to get you to believe that I'm going to have a YouTube video here that's going to be able to help get to the root of what's actually holding you back. That's why we offer free calls to be able to jump on and to help you, because we all have different pre-programming that's happening in our brains. It doesn't take one YouTube video. It doesn't take like one answer. It doesn't take one session or anything like that. It's the reprogramming of our brain. And that doesn't just mean me or Teresa, by the way. Like, yes, we are here to help support you. But if you have another coach you're connected to, if you know somebody who's like a powerful coach that you can connect with, that will help you get to the root of it and understands how to actually do that, please lean into that, friends, because this is the power of being able to have a coach, getting to the root of it, and then using your coaching power to attract the right people, to pull them towards you, to create that level of demand instead of feeling like you have to put your marketing hat on. Bye, everybody.
Bye.